I was born into greatness. My family lived in the outer districts, where the Morphon crystal reactors hummed day and night, powering the gleaming city above. My parents were engineers, keeping the currents flowing and the oxygen pure. It was hard, honest work, but it left little time for anything else. While other children dreamed of playing in the glow of the city core, I dreamed of something greater. The Atlantean Guard was my goal, not for glory, but because I wanted to prove that even a boy from the trenches could stand shoulder to shoulder with the best of Atlantis. At 13, I entered the Guards Training Academy. The nobles who filled the ranks made it clear I didn't belong. To them, I was an outsider, what you would call a mud dweller. They mocked me at every turn, but I learned quickly silence was my weapon. I trained harder, studied longer, and fought smarter than anyone else. By 17, I had earned the respect of my instructors, if not my peers. That respect, however, was always earned the hard way. The first time I met Princess Proteus was during the Abyssal conflict. She was part of the Royal Court, a diplomatic scholar, not someone you'd expect to see on the battlefield. I was a cadet then, pulled into the desperate counterattack after our commanding officer fell. It was Proteus who kept the soldiers from breaking. Her calm in the midst of chaos was magnetic. I don't know if I would have found the courage to leave if I hadn't seen her standing there, resolute and unshaken. That moment began to bond what I never expected to have. Over the years, I found myself speaking with Proteus more often. She saw something in me that others didn't. To the nobles, I was an outsider. To Proteus, I was an equal. She encouraged me to embrace leadership, not for ambition, but for duty. We would spend hours talking. Her curiosity about the lives of soldiers, my questions about the history of the court. She became my anchor, the voice reminding me that leadership wasn't about perfection, but about perseverance. The siege of the Abyssal Gate was the moment that defined me as a leader. It nearly broke me. Abyssos has built a weapon that could disrupt the Morphon crystal reactors, threatening to shut down the city itself. I led the infiltration team tasked with destroying it. The plan went wrong from the start. Half my team was captured, the rest were barely holding the line. I was forced with a choice: retreat and have the survivors, or press forward and risk everything to complete the mission. I chose to press forward. We succeeded, but with a terrible cost. Many of my soldiers didn't make it back. When I returned to Atlantis, the victory was celebrated, but the weight of those lives stayed with me. It was after the siege that I was summoned to the Royal Court. The air was heavy with expectation. As I entered the Grey Hall, King Poseidon himself stood at the head of the chamber, his presence commanding, his gaze piercing. Poseidon spoke words I'll never forget. That moment was overwhelming. A boy who had once been overlooked, mocked, and underestimated, to stand before the royal court and be named general. It felt unreal. But it wasn't just a title. It was a promise. A promise to Atlantis, to its people, and to myself, that I would give everything I had to protect them. Every challenge shaped me into the leader Atlantis needed. Now as the Gold Sawshark Ranger, I carried those lessons with me. The power title gave me isn't just a tool. It's a responsibility. And just as I fought for Atlantis, I would fight for the oceans, for the surface, and for this team. Atlantis may be my home, but my duty has always been to protect something larger than myself. That is my story. Not one of privilege, but one of purpose. And though the tides of fate have brought me far from home, I know this much. The currents always guide us to where we're meant to be.